Our next speaker is Dr. Kalaivani, and she is basically a obstetrics and gynecology person, DND, also FNS. She is a member of the Academy of National Academy of Medical Sciences, and her area of specialization is maternal and child health, obstetrics and gynecology. And I just would like to mention one more aspect, which probably I'm chairman of the Fluorosis Foundation of India, and they have found that there is a lot of, where there is fluorosis, there are ladies who are quite anemic, and I think anemia is one of the causes of the fluorosis. And I think that is limited to the water conservation, water harvesting and other things. And therefore, if pure water supply is also one of the reasons where this could be a very useful tool. The other thing which bothers me about the last speaker, I think I'm a surgeon and I don't understand this nutrition and all those things easily, but I know one thing, that there is a lot of food wastage, there is a lack of food storage, and something which I think we should also be targeting. I think there is a lot of, I have two granddaughters and they are always on junk food or something like that. And that is where I think nutrition should be talking to people that this is not right. And I think the ladies should be told that this is not right for their children. I think this is something which is very important. It's just an out of the cuff remark from my side. But I think perhaps more discussion will follow on this. And Dr. Kalaivani.
Thank you, sir. Really excellent comments and remarks. I only wish people adapt this very simple thing to make a difference between heaven and earth.
Thank you, sir. I'll be talking about current status of anemia and SDG targets. Everyone, especially the senior faculty and members in this audience, will know that India has recognized anemia as a major public health problem for a long time, and India has been a pioneer in carrying out studies to define magnitude of anemia, causes and consequences of anemia, evolving and implementing national prophylaxis programs for anemia, national programs for control of anemia, nutrition and health education for dietary diversification for prevention of anemia, and also development and use of, everyone has been talking from morning of iron fortified iodide salt for sustainable improvement in iron intake. This is something that is developed in India, National Institute of Nutrition. Over the last decade, there has been some reduction in prevalence of anemia, especially in some vulnerable groups. But even now, prevalence of anemia is unacceptably high. What is the magnitude of the problem? As you can see, India is a brilliant red in every map. Whether it is preschool children, pregnant women, or reproductive age group women, India has the highest prevalence of anemia. And being a population billionaire, India is the home of the largest number of anemic persons in the world. Again, while anemia is the commonest deficiency disease in the world, 1/3 of the global population are anemic. And it is the most common nutritional deficiency disorder in the world and in India. You can see prevalence of anemia in every age group is very high in all age groups. One population group which has not been paid attention to till now are the elderly. And I'll be showing data. Elderly are worse than anybody else. Elderly men in point of fact. They are the worst. And that's something that perhaps we do need to look at also. What are the factors responsible? We know very well. Dietary intake of iron and folate way below recommended allowances. Iron absorption from the Indian diet is very low. Once sometime back, one of the people very casually, very in a joking fashion commented, "It's relatively easy to cure anemia, remove this problem. Just convert the entire 1 billion population into non-veg." As Dr. Reddy mentioned, it is ecologically, economically, and every which way, and health-wise unsustainable and unhealthy for us. We should continue on this vegetarian diet, understand that there are problems, and tackle them. Because of this poor iron absorption and poor iron intake, there is high prevalence of iron and folate deficiency as well as other B-complex deficiencies, and this is one of the major factors responsible for widespread anemia across all age and income groups. What happens in pregnancy, anemia in pregnancy? Maternal anemia, what is the effect of maternal anemia on hemoglobin status in children? Maternal anemia is not associated with any reduction in hemoglobin levels at birth or significant degree of anemia in the neonatal period. But iron stores in these neonates are low, iron content in breast milk in anemic women is low, and by 6 months, substantial proportion of infants become anemic. Maternal iron deficiency and anemia therefore render the offspring vulnerable for developing iron deficiency and anemia right from infancy, perpetuating an intergenerational cycle of anemia. What are the functional consequences of anemia? Again, this audience knows it only too well. Just to run through, immunosuppressive and increased susceptibility to infection across all age groups, lack of concentration, easy fatigability, and poor attention span in children, poor work capacity in adults engaged in manual labor. In pregnancy, mild anemia, that is 8 to 11 grams, there is easy fatigability and poor work capacity. At 5 to 7.9 grams, there is impaired immune function, increased morbidity due to infections, and low bone weight. Below 5 grams, you have 2 stages. One is a compensated stage where there is an increased morbidity and maternal mortality due to inability to withstand even small amounts of bleeding during pregnancy or delivery, and an increased risk of infection. And the other, which is a decompensated stage, about 1/3 develop severe congestive cardiac failure, and many with congestive cardiac failure succumb to the failure either during pregnancy or during labor. There is a 8 to 10-fold increase in maternal mortality rate when hemoglobin is below 5 grams. Luckily, this is a nightmare vision which is perhaps slowly disappearing across India. It's been some decline in severe anemia and life-threatening problems, and also some decline in moderate anemia in pregnancy. What are the methods to combat anemia? Long-term interventions. Global and Indian experience show that long-term measures for prevention and control of anemia should be based on dietary diversification. I can't help it. I have to say the same words as the previous speakers because there is no alternative to that. And consumer education so that all people at all times have physical and economic access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food that meets their dietary needs and food preferences for an active and healthy life. Medium-term measures: nutrition education for dietary diversification, food fortification, and nutrient supplementation in specific groups, example pregnancy. Outreach of nutrition education has improved with increasing access to electronic media. With increasing literacy rates and access to media, population awareness can perhaps be built up rapidly. But poorer segments of population may not be able to afford the cost of diversified food. Global evidence indicates that it is difficult to sustain long-term nutrient supplementation programs for large population groups. So in the short-term context, food fortification is an effective, inexpensive, and sustainable method for combating widespread iron deficiency in India. The National Anemia Prophylaxis Program was initiated in India in 1973. This aimed at providing iron and folic acid supplementation to pregnant women and preschool children. In 1989, the program was modified and renamed as National Anemia Control Program. It was aimed at providing IFA supplementation to pregnant women, preschool children, and adolescent girls. screening pregnant women for late rate of anemia and providing appropriate care. In 2013, the National Iron Plus program was initiated with additional emphasis on nutrition and health education for dietary diversification for preventing anemia and use of iron-fortified iodized salt for sustainable improvement in iron intake. We next come to national surveys for assessing coverage and impact of interventions. There have been national health surveys for assessing coverage and content of national programs for control of anemia and assess the impact of interventions on hemoglobin. In the last 2 decades, National Family Health Survey 2, 3 and 4, District Level Household Survey 2 and 4, and Clinical Anthropometric and Biochemical Component of Annual Health Survey had assessed coverage under antenatal care, anemia control program, and estimated hemoglobin levels in the survey population. These are all the surveys. These are the years where they have been done. These are the states covered. These two are really complementary to each other and would cover practically all of India because they were done almost simultaneously. These are the most surveys covered only preschool children, adolescent girls, and 10 to 19 years pregnant women. It's only in the last two when all age groups from 6 months of age up till whatever, in both sexes were covered. And that's where the question about what happens in elderly people was very clear. The NFHS series used HemoQ, the DLHS series and AHS used the sand hemoglobin, indirect sand hemoglobin method. All surveys showed that over the last 2 decades, there has been a slow and steady improvement in coverage of IFA supplementation programs in pregnancy. Coverage of IFA program was low in preschool children and school-age children. As I mentioned, the NFHS used HemoQ while DLHS and AHS used the time-tested, accurate sand hemoglobin method for hemoglobin estimation. The cutoff values used are men older than 20, 13 grams, women older than 20, 12 grams, pregnant women 11 grams per deciliter, children, boys and girls 5 to 9, 11.5 grams per deciliter, preschool children, boys and girls 0 to 4 years, 11 grams per deciliter, adolescents, boys and girls 10 to 19, 12 grams per deciliter. These cutoffs were used by all the national surveys. We looked at the mean hemoglobin and prevalence of anemia in the vulnerable groups across the NFHS series. There was no clear or consistent changes in mean hemoglobin levels or in prevalence of anemia in the NFHS series in any age group. And this was at national level. This was interpreted as failure of the ongoing national anemia control programs. If you look at what happened to prevalence of anemia and mean hemoglobin levels in DLHS 2 versus DLHS 4 and AHS, we can see very clearly an increase in hemoglobin levels in DLHS 2 and 4 or AHS and DLHS 2. And also a reduction in prevalence of anemia over the same in the same state. Incidentally, Chhattisgarh is one of the states, and Odisha is other states. It shows, in spite of being so-called EFG, they show an improvement which is remarkable. Both states. And when you look at interstate, here you will see that. You see the really fantastic reduction from where they were. Chhattisgarh has done that. It has shown it in all the 3 groups. So, there has been some reduction in prevalence of anemia in all the states. Reduction in prevalence of anemia is higher in states which show higher coverage under IFA supplementation programs. Exception really is these two. They do have a reasonable coverage, but not that high. States like Kerala and Himachal, there has been a 50% reduction in prevalence of anemia, and in pregnant women, IFA coverage has improved over the same period of time. But that doesn't mean prevalence of anemia is something which we can take very comfortably. It's still unacceptably high. The same story is repeated if we were to do frequency distribution of hemoglobin in under 5 pregnant women, adolescent girls, or in under 5 children, pregnant women or adolescent girls, between DLHS 2 and 4 or between DLHS 2 and AHS states. In all the cases, whether it is DLHS 4 or AHS, there is a clear shift to the right. The shift is maximal in pregnant women, but it is undoubtedly present both in under 5 and in adolescent girls, even though those programs are not so great. So, this improvement in hemoglobin could partly be due to overall improvement in nutritional status in all the 3 groups. But these findings emphasize the need for ensuring that surveys which are used to assess changes in prevalence of anemia do use accurate methods of hemoglobin estimation, and multi-pronged interventions envisaged in the Iron Plus initiative could perhaps enable the country to achieve the SDG goal of 50% reduction in the prevalence of anemia in women in reproductive age. What is the current status? This is mean hemoglobin levels across all age groups in DLHS 4 and AHS, and the mean hemoglobin levels in all groups are lower in the AHS states as compared to the DLHS states. So you can see most of these range in the 10 gram various ranges. These are mostly 9. There is an almost a gram difference in this. And this is one of the lowest. It's only better, slightly better than preschool children and pregnant women. Mean hemoglobin levels were lowest in under 5 children, both in AHS and DLHS 4 states. Mean hemoglobin levels are higher in men as compared to women across all the age groups. Difference in mean hemoglobin levels between pregnant and non-pregnant women is less than 0.5 grams per deciliter in both AHS CAB and DLHS 4 states. In all groups, prevalence of anemia is higher in AHS states as compared to DLHS 4 states. Prevalence of anemia is higher in preschool children, adolescent girls, and the elderly as compared to other groups. Prevalence of anemia is lower in pregnant women than in non-pregnant women, both in AHS and in DLHS 4 states. Perhaps the IFA supplementation is having some impact on the prevalence of anemia in pregnant women. But as you could see from the earlier slide, majority of Indians of all ages and both sexes are anemic. Prevalence of anemia ranged from 57.1 to 89.3. And effective implementation of the NIPI strategy of increasing iron in all households through dietary diversification and use of iron-fortified iodized salt, IFA supplementation to vulnerable groups, and testing and timely treatment of pregnant women with anemia will be required to accelerate the pace of reduction in the prevalence of iron deficiency anemia and enable the country to achieve the SDG target for reduction in anemia. Bioavailability of iron from fiber and phytate-rich Indian vegetarian diet is very low. Because of this, to meet the RDA for iron, intake has to be very high, and it is very difficult to achieve such high intake on a sustained basis over years. Intake of iron in Indian vegetarian diet is similar to iron intake in developed countries, but the poor bioavailability of iron from Indian diets ensures that iron requirements are not met. Dietary diversification with increased intake of iron folate-rich vegetables and promoters of iron absorption is essential, but it is very difficult to cook and produce and consume, and the large quantities of micronutrient-rich vegetables needed to meet the RDA, especially in children and pregnant women. Iron fortified iodized salt represents a very feasible, economical and sustainable method of increasing iron intake by an average of 10 milligrams per day without any major dietary change and reduce the prevalence of iron deficiency. This would not meet the requirements of pregnancy, and therefore in pregnancy, iron and folic acid supplementation is essential to meet the nutrient requirements. Currently, 2 technologies has been approved by the FSSAI for producing double fortified salt, and voluntary fortification of salts using these technologies is underway. As the previous speaker has mentioned, many states are providing DFS to PDS, and guidelines for mandatory use of DFS in hot cooked food in midday meal and ICDs have recently been reissued by Government of India. Implementation of these guidelines will ensure installed production capacity for double fortified salt is fully utilized, and community awareness and acceptance and use of DFS is built up. The centralized production involved in production of salt and pre-existing programs for salt fortification with iodine offer a very ready platform to launch iron fortified iodized salt. Way forward, there has been some improvement in hemoglobin levels in reduction in prevalence of anemia in some vulnerable groups between 2002 to 2015, but prevalence of anemia is still very high across all age groups. The National Iron Plus Initiative program, which aims at achieving sustainable improvement in iron intake across all groups through nutrition and health education to improve vegetable intake and improving access to iron fortified iodized salt, providing IFA supplementation to all pregnant women, preschool children, school children and adolescent girls, screening pregnant women for varying rates of anemia and providing appropriate care. Effective implementation of all these components can achieve substantial reduction in prevalence of anemia and enable India to achieve the SDG target of 50% reduction in prevalence of anemia in reproductive age group women. Thank you.
Dr. Venkatesh is reaching in 5 minutes, so you have 5 minutes for questions. Yes, please. So the Venkatesh was no random. Use another important. No problem. Use the least speaker. Last.
I think what's your regular question? When we talk about salt and double qualified salt, and you said we can get up to 10 grams a day. Now we are kind of pushing forward and increasing much salt and the WHO guidelines less than 5 grams of salt. Should we really be pushing for double qualified salt now?
I think I will pass this question to the 2 experts. There are too many experts in this area and I really don't know enough about it. I will say something and then leave it to the person who is involved with the group that advocates. And in fact, this intersalt study was one of the first things. Sorry, I know that my voice never carries. Okay, the problem is currently all the data that we have, whether it is NNMB or Nonsense College, numerous surveys, all of them tell us, on average, 10 grams salt intake, range 8 to 12. This is currently prevalent. And therefore, whenever you are using any fortification technology, it will take this level. Like you are taking in rice, they said 300 grams, 1/3 RDA at 300 grams. That is the way. Tomorrow, Dr. Tripart advises bring it down to 200 grams. Then the amount which is incorporated per 100 grams would do a normal. So it is not appropriate for us to take decisions on fortification on what could perhaps happen. Fortification is a technology which can
address different dilutions. But technology at the current level of intake is what will be approved at any particular time. Day after tomorrow, we produce enough data across the country saying our salt intake is 5 grams. We Indians are so good. Then we will alter iodization as well as iron fortification to levels which are appropriate for fiber intake. But until such time as you show it has come down steeply, with 1/3 RDA to maximum of 50% RDA in case of oil would remain on the basis of available data and current consumption. Dr. Reddy.
Very unsatisfactory with some lengths.
Sorry, I asked the question. That I really
As far as always concerned, while living in India,
give another mic.
in the age, on to 4 times of that. Very people writing rapid names that can studying this study. Again, that is important. Having a good of that, but that's also I am good of that. So, as I use that question, there was there was now conversation of the relative groups that even after studying this process, there is a psycho-organization of relative as well as this side of. So, we have a situation where we are really looking at a moderate source, very low one. What is that? Basically, it is still somewhere around 5 grams. Maximum you may be able to go to that level of 5 grams per hour. Now the question is, how much we allow in terms of concentration. I would say, if you look at the earlier stage, that is the bioavailability power. And now the bioavailability can actually be increased by others. It's actually great that we need not necessarily take it for granted that our food will continue to be low in these, therefore bioavailability is low. Why is this availability to purification? That is to take up the gap naturally.
Thank you. That is the real answer. Because rice is not very simple of a simple thing alone. And anyway, Dr. Reddy, we are looking forward to your article on the salt controversy. He has promised to write an article which will clear all your doubts in the, hopefully in the next issue of, yes, Dr.
As an answer to India, founded in the country, as part of the idea of Bharat, the official guidelines have been released of the welfare of there are features now recognized, initiatives as well now recognized, apart from nutrition deficiencies, there are non-nutrition causes of anemia which need to be addressed because we are giving to human diseases, which is certain one during immunity, iron coming there, still it is not right. So, non-nutrition causes are mainly these things here. You
the village that which any of the iron molecule is even getting use of that. This is iron molecule we have no that because here is because of damage that is going to. So these three non-emission polyps have been added to the other.
There are two questions from the workforce center. Okay. Then, workforce center questions.
Yeah, thank you. Specifically, know what Odisha is considered to research, research, Catholic study, so that we may replicate in other states.
No, they are only, I mentioned it only because Mrs. Shashi Prabhu said they did use BFS at a time when no other state was doing. So did Uttaranchal. Uttaranchal is not, unfortunately, Uttaranchal is not showing the results because, unfortunately, two of the higher hill districts, big districts, the survey couldn't be done because they were a little slow in conducting the survey and winter had set in. So, the survey had gone on for a very long time. So, we had to end it by December. They should have completed it. So, Uttaranchal didn't show that we can. The reason I mentioned Himachal and Kerala are doing as well. Tamil Nadu is not bad at all. Maharashtra is quite good. And the reason I mentioned this is because in the earlier speakers, Mrs. Shashi Prabhu mentioned, and usually when it comes to EAG states, they are so bad. They don't do anything. Not true. There are times when they do something exceptionally well, and that pat in the back is essential for these two states. Especially because of what Saxena said also, both of these are malaria endemic areas. Terribly malaria endemic. In spite of that, if they have achieved something, they should be given that kudos. It's not more than what others have achieved. As you saw, it is ranked in order of improvement. They're not the first. Kerala and Himachal were the first. They are superb. But they were superb earlier and they are superb in any everything. So the performance is good, their coverage is very good, their content is very good, so they will be good. These are two states which suffer from a lot of disadvantages, but in spite of that, at least in pregnant women, they have done very good. Actually, they show it in all the groups. It's one of those things where a special mention is worthy because of their so-called disadvantaged states.
Jodhpur, please ask your questions.
Thank you, ma'am. My question is, has anemia associated with the elevated level of heavy metals in the blood?
You're talking of lead poisoning being associated with anemia.
Lead poisoning.
Lead poisoning. Yes, lead poisoning. Anemia is one of the features of lead poisoning.
If the pregnant woman have elevated lead level,
lead levels are usually not done as a routine in antenatal care. This is we are talking of apparently normal women who access in the survey who are assessed for hemoglobin. Lead poisoning is disease and should be treated as a disease. Lead poisoning is associated with anemia. I'm not sure if lead poisoning is common and it does have effect on fertility also. So,
Any other question?
Yeah, ma'am. Yes, sir. This one is a serious condition, means deficiency of individual micronutrients or the imbalance in micronutrients.
what is the question?
Micronutrients, macronutrients.
This one is the most serious condition.
This is most common.
Individual micronutrient deficiency or imbalance in micronutrients.
Micronutrients. Deficiency of usually iron, but it can be Usually iron, but it can be folate, B12, other things, non-nutritional causes also. Again. If there are no more questions.
Yes. Good evening, all dignitaries. Myself, Dr. Minalini, and I'm doing a Masters in Public Health from AIIMS Jodhpur. As in one of the slides you have shown about the complementary feeding. So I have a question about what are the challenges of complementary feeding in Rajasthan? Could you explain?
It should have higher micronutrient content at the moment it's continuously. Sorry, I'm going to start off question. Anemia in young children is due to several factors. We know mothers are anemic. Because of maternal anemia, iron stores at the time of birth in children is extremely low. So when they are born, the children are not anemic, but because of the poor iron stores, by the time they are 6 months old, they have a very high chance of anemia. On the top of it, complementary feed is essentially a calorie-dense food, if at all it is given. Very often it doesn't have any vegetable content, and there is just no question of any sufficient amount of iron entering through complementary feeding. And therefore, between 6 months and 24 months, there is a steep upward climb in the prevalence of anemia. After 24 months, literally 75% of children are anemic, and they continue to be so from then onwards. So it's not that complementary food alone is going to really correct or prevent deterioration in hemoglobin status during early childhood. You need to invest on better antinatal care, better hemoglobin, and better iron status of pregnant women, so transplacental transmission of iron deficiency does not occur. And now on the top of it, introduce appropriate complementary food with adapted vegetables in it, micronutrient-rich vegetables in it. You have a win-win situation, and you can perhaps prevent the deterioration in hemoglobin that happens within 3 months in 20 months. Am I clear? It's a multi-level intervention required.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Come along. So,
yes, sir. The non-scientific setting. I was listening to a very wonderful speech on anemia and maintenance. I think there is a lot of social cultural aspect to this. And I think the midday meal scheme is something which is very relevant. I think, for example, in Bihar state, they provided packages, so they were coming to schools and getting the kind of nutrition which they require. And I think this is something which is very important. And I think there are lots of ladies here, and I would say that ladies in the house, they come at the bottom of their scheme, so that their healthcare is not really taken as seriously as it should be. And anemia is one of them. And I had a very nice statement from a big politician. He says, I go and eat with the children the same food that they are getting in the schools. I thought that was exemplary. And I think a lot more states should do that. And I think that should be a wonderful experience for the children, so that they in later life, when you can at a study, living all these gold medals all around, I think that is what is required. Thank you.
thank you, sir. Excellent. So, You always understand the comments.